The coming of the Lord and what it means. So we're going to look at the coming of the Lord again, and we're going to look at what it means. And we're going to use 2 Peter 3, and we're going to have to use the whole chapter. The reason why we're using the whole chapter is we don't want to do like what people do today, or even back in the days. They used to quote people out of context. And when you quote someone out of context, it becomes a pretext. And not only a pretext, it becomes entirely something different than what the person originally said. So we're going to look at the coming of the Lord. And I'm going to give you the outline of what the coming of the Lord means and reveal another key secret. The whole of Peter writing could be summed up in a couple of phrases that we use today, and I'm going to just jump off with the revelation. It starts, whatever a man sow, that shall he reap. That's basically what Peter is saying. In today's day, they talk about karma, which is whatever you send out in the universe, that's what will come back to you. It's the same thing. We use another term that says, as the table turn, the table will turn. It meaning that whatever you were pushing, the table will turn on you, and that's what you will get. They pretty much saying the same thing. Another phrase that is used in the New Testament is, by their fruit you shall know them. That means whatever comes from a people or a group or a person, you shall actually know the person. It is also said in this way, you shall, by the abundance of a person's mouth, you shall know who they are. That means you know what is coming out of that person's heart, which is their experience and all these things. The fifth or the sixth, it could be the fruit don't fall far from the tree. It's the very same thing that Peter is saying in the whole chapter, especially chapter 3. And 6, a good tree produce good fruit and a bad tree produce bad fruit. That's basically what it means by the coming of the Lord. Now, that might be a shock to you, but as we go through 2 Peter 3, verse 1 to 8, we'll be going back to the first chapter to show you the context of what Peter is saying. And I'm going to tell you another revelation, that all these things are written in, as the old saying would say, spiritual language, but really it's a parable. It's an allegory. It's figurative language. It's all these things wrapped up into something that they have experienced or what they have been taught. And so when they laying it out in writing, the people actually knew what they're saying, because these people were now learned. So as we get into 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 to 18, you're going to see that this is not a mystery. It was hidden by men who were wiser than us at the time. And as the Spirit of truth comes to me, I started to understand plainly and clearly what is being revealed. So stay tuned as we get into 2 Peter 3, verse 1 to 18. You will be surprised that we already knew these things, but a seducer came in and distort the message. So stay tuned. Second Peter 3, verse 1 to 18. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which to stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. Remember, in my introduction, I told you that these people already knew what Peter is writing. So what has happened, I don't know the time span between the writing of this letter. There is so many assumptions out there, I don't want to go with them. But as you see in this very first verse in 2 Peter 3, that it's stirring up their mind. In other words, the people had lost something. So there's some key words in this first verse that we want to look at. We want to look at stir up, we want to look at remembrance, and we want to also be aware of your pure mind. So just keep in mind these three things as we go through 2 Peter 3, 1 to 18. 2 Peter 3 verse 2, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostle of the Lord and Savior. So now Peter is also telling them to be mindful. Being mindful is to be aware of. Then he talk about the holy prophet. Really and truly what he's saying, he's not talking about the holy prophet. He's talking about what he got, which really is the words that's coming from the apostle Peter, that he's the one who's now relaying the message to these people. That's basically what he's saying. I'm reminded of this passage at the end of Jesus going into the mount and speaking to the people and to his apostles. And I remember of Matthew 7, starting from verse 24 to 27. I just reminded of that. And this is this encapsulates what Peter is saying. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken them to a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. This is basically what Peter is writing. This is basically what it means when the Lord comes, the revelation, the manifestation of each man's work. This is what's basically what it is. Build your house upon your life. You could see the manifestation of it in a time to come. I don't know the particular time, but look right now. You could look in the United States, look in Jamaica, look in each man's life. Look at each man's life, and it reveal what he built his house upon. This is the meaning of when the Lord come. When the Lord come, he's coming with gifts, he's coming with revelation, he's coming with manifestation. It's basically the very same thing. So what we have to do in this teaching, we may have to do it in series, because there is so many questions that would arise, but they can be easily answered. So when you said the coming of the Lord, it's revealed in Matthew chapter 7, starting from verse 24 to 27, to encapsulate the coming of the Lord.